How's it going, everyone? Today I'm here with my WWE Survivor Series 2015 pay-per-view. Of course, Survivor Series wrapped up not too long ago. And coming out of Survivor Series, I know the ending has a lot of people just pissed off and just frustrated. But coming out of the show, I did think it was a good show for what it was. I know a lot of people might think differently, especially considering the outcome of the pay-per-view. A lot of people just did not like the ending at all, including myself. I wasn't a fan of it either, but I think overall the show itself was good. I didn't think there was too much bad about it at all, so Survivor Series was good. It was your average Raw, I would say, honestly. It just felt like a Raw, so a good Raw, that is. But yeah, I thought Survivor Series was good for the most part. Kickoff show, nothing really happened. They actually ended up having a match on the show they added at the last minute, being a traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Neville, the Dudley Boys, Titus O'Neil, and returning Goldust, taking on The Miz, Bo Dallas, The Miz, Bo Dallas, who else on the team? Miz, Bo Dallas, Stardust, and The Ascension. It was a fine match, it was fun for what it was. Not, it wasn't anything that special. Eliminations occurred, Victor got eliminated right from the get-go by Goldust by a scoop slam, so Victor was gone right there. Connor got eliminated by Bubba Ray Dudley by the side effect. Neville got eliminated by The Miz when Bo Dallas hit the Bodog on him. Then The Miz picked him up for the Skull Crusher finale, get the 1-2-3 victory. So he eliminated Neville. Then The Miz got eliminated right away by Goldust with a roll-up. And then Bo Dallas got eliminated by Titus O'Neil by the Clash of Titus. And then Stardust got eliminated by 3D. Got eliminated by Devon, followed by 3D. So the Dudley Boys, Titus O'Neil, and Goldust were sole survivors. Why Neville got eliminated, I have no idea, instead of Titus. Titus, I don't even know why he was in the match to begin with. But it was a fun little match, to get the crowd going, to get the crowd a little hyped up for the show. So it was a fine little match. We're going to the pay-per-view itself, which opened up with the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament semifinals. Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio. Really good match here, these two actually busted out a really good match, I thought. There's a lot of near falls, a lot of great exchanges, and just them beating the holy hell out of each other. A nice little sequence with the Superman punch, Del Rio dodging it and reversing it into a backstabber. And he reversed a spear a few times into super kicks. So they had a nice little match here. Nothing too wasn't a phenomenal match, but it was a really solid match between the two of them. I enjoyed it. Thought it was really good. Like I said, a lot of near falls in this match, which really got into the match, because there was actually a few times I thought Alberto Del Rio was actually going to beat Roman Reigns. So that's a little exciting. The fact that they gave me a little hope, not a lot, but a little hope. From the near falls that Del Rio actually might have won the match. But it was a lot of fun. The ending was really good too. Roman Reigns was able to counter the double foot stomp that Del Rio does now. He was able to counter it. Try to give him a spear. I think Del Rio countered it into something else. I just remember Del Rio's on the top rope. He jumped down. I think Reigns did like a freaking roll, and then he gave him a spear to Del Rio to advance to the finals. But yeah, really good opening match there. Props to both guys for putting on a really good match, because I thought, drop my phone, hold on. I thought going into the match, it'd be one of two things: either a dull and boring match or a stiff and hard-hitting match. And they put on a somewhat stiff and hard-hitting match. So kudos to them. Good match. Enjoyed it. Next was the second match of the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament semifinals. Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. Another really good match here. I'd honestly say this was probably match of the night. Just those two put on a really good match. Kevin Owens being the heel that he is, interacting with the crowd. Just his little, how he is in the ring, where he'll just yell, and just the little things he does would makes him stand out. They put on a really good match, a good back and forth action, a lot of near falls as well, a lot of counters too. Dean Ambrose countered the pop-up powerbomb a few times in this match. Even with the, when Ambrose would go for his lariats, when he'd rebound from the ropes, go for lariats, Kevin Owens, gave him 2 sick super kicks, nearly killing Ambrose, and going for the pop-up powerbomb. Ambrose, reversed it into a Hurricanrana, which led into the Dirty Deeds for the 1-2-3 victory for Dean Ambrose to advance into the finals. Like I said, just a really good match here between both of them. Did not disappoint. I think with more time, though, these two could definitely put on an awesome match. Not downing this one, like I said, it was really good, but I do think they could have the potential to put on just an awesome match if given the proper time. Because they got about 12 minutes, I want to say, 12, 15 minutes around here, which is, a good amount of time, but I think the more time they could put on definitely a clinic, especially if they can just go all out. Because you can definitely tell in the match, Dean Ambrose was, withholding a little bit because he had to conserve his energy for the main event. But, they still put on a really good match nonetheless, so great match there. And like I said, in my opinion, that was a match of the night. From there, I'm going to an add-on, which was the traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Ryback, the Usos, and Lucha Dragons versus the New Day, Sheamus and King Barrett. New Day cutting a promo, of course, before the match started. Sheamus and Barrett, they were great with the New Day, especially Barrett, man. Him getting jiggy with it, getting into it, I thought was absolutely awesome. But the match itself was, it was okay. The crowd was really into it up until the New Day got eliminated. Then the match just went downhill from there because the crowd was dead silent. All the energy got sucked out of them. So that really dampened the match that happened. It was still good for what it was. The first elimination occurred on King Barrett when Sin Cara eliminated him from a swanton from the top rope. And then Jimmy Uso got eliminated by Xavier Woods. Don't remember how, but I just remember Xavier Woods pinned him because that's what I wrote down in my notes. Sin Cara got eliminated after that by Sheamus by a bro kick. Big E got eliminated by Jey Uso from the splash from the top rope. And after that, that's when the match went downhill because when Big E got eliminated, Xavier and Kofi were like, you know what, F this match. We're taking our friend, he's hurt. We're taking him to the back. So New Day technically never got eliminated. The referee never counted out Xavier and Kofi. So the match is still going on. So I don't know why the match was declared over for when they never got eliminated. The referee never counted them out or anything. So a lot of confusion too, that the fact that they just walked out and they didn't make an announcement that they eliminated by count out or anything. So that really just dumbed down the match too. So it came down to Sheamus taking on Jey Uso, Ryback, and Kalisto. My mind's all over the place. There's a lot of names. But yeah, just Sheamus took them on, and it was alright, it was whatever. I think he took all their finishes, which ended up him getting pinned by Ryback from the Shell Shock. So it was a good match, but like I said, when New Day left, the match just went downhill. They should never got eliminated. That was just dumb. But yeah, that was that. After that, we go into the Divas Championship match, Charlotte versus Paige. This match fucking sucked. I'm just gonna say it straight out. This match sucked. I understand what they're going for in the match. They're taking it slow. They're just trying to, have one of those matches where you don't have to do too much, but it did not work with this, especially from the promo on Raw where Charlotte wants to beat the holy hell out of Paige. She took it easy on her. She's just putting her in submission holds. She was just, it took it easy, and just the match was just a big snore fest, and the match is very long too. This might have been the longest match on the show, to be perfectly honest. It went, I want to say, at least almost 15 minutes. It felt like it just went on forever and ever, and Paige was doing her stupid little taunt, which got annoying. This match was, and they screwed up the one spot that would have made this match awesome, where they were both standing on the barricade and Charlotte speared Paige off it. But it was executed so shittily, and they landed it so bad too. It looked like straight garbage. So this match is a huge bore fest. Charlotte won with the figure eight, so Paige tapped out. So Charlotte retains. Who really cares, to be perfectly honest? No disrespect to them. What the story they're going for. It was the same problem with me when Charlotte and Nikki Bella had a match at Night of Champions. I understand the story they're going for, but it just did not work. What they were doing, especially with Charlotte and Paige, because their whole thing was they want to kill each other, yet they took it easy for some reason. So it just didn't work, and I didn't like the match. But Charlotte retains, whatever. Hopefully Sasha Banks gets her at TLC and beats her for the title. If not, whatever. From there on, go to Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze, which was actually a really good match here. A lot of people, I think, won't really talk about it or really care for it because, the way it's placed on the card. The crowd is kind of just, saving energy for the last two matches. And especially the crap match we just had, I don't think a lot of people were interested in watching. So it was unfortunate, but they put on a really good match, back and forth stuff. They mirrored each other in ways in the ring. So I just thought they put on a really good match, but just a terrible place on the card. I think if this would have been one of the first couple matches, I think the crowd would have been into it. But considering, like I said, the spot in this card, it didn't really get the chance to invest the crowd in which it should have been. But they put on a solid match for what they did. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Tyler Breeze with the victory with the Unprettier that he stole from Christian. He's on the ropes, and I think he just pulled Ziggler's. He did something. He kicked Ziggler's leg that was injured. Ziggler selling it. Then he did the Unprettier on Ziggler for the 1-2-3 victory. Glad Tyler Breeze won. I thought it was the right decision for him to win. But yeah, that was a really good match. It just it was a poorly placed in the card because that was around the time that just people were not caring. So unfortunate for those two, but crap happens. From there, I'm going to go to the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatt family, of course. Two members of the Wyatt family that was unknown going into the match. Entrances come out. Undertaker has a WrestleMania type entrance. Absolutely awesome entrance, especially with the casket on Tron showing the different faces of the Undertaker throughout the years. I thought that was absolutely awesome that they did that. The match itself was fun. The two members in the beam was Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Thankfully, Luke Harper, because it was, I think everyone probably assumed Braun Strowman would be in it. But thank God he wasn't, because Luke Harper is definitely the best choice to be in that match. Because he definitely made the match fun. The interaction between him and the Undertaker, I thought was a lot of fun watching those two go at it. I thought it was a fun match. Eric Rowan, from the get-go, he runs in the ring, tries to attack him, but they give him a double choke slam, and then he just disappears. Like, you don't see Eric Rowan for the rest of the match. He just disappeared, vanished. So, yeah, Kane and Undertaker taking on Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Like I said, it was a fun match. The little involvements they did with Luke Harper were definitely the highlights of the match. They did, similar spots from Taker and Bray's match from WrestleMania 31 this year. They did similar spots, but, it was cool to see Taker and Luke Harper go at it. That's probably the biggest thing I could say about this match is those two going at it. It was awesome to see them go at it. Luke Harper's just absolutely awesome, and I'm pretty sure Undertaker honestly probably requested he be in the match, to be perfectly honest. But it was fun. It was, the crowd was really hot into it as well. They had little interactions with Braun Strowman. They actually double chokeslammed Braun Strowman through the Spanish announce table, which was pretty cool. But, yeah, like I said, the biggest thing I'd say is just the interaction that Luke Harper got with Undertaker was absolutely the best part about this match. And it was fun for what it was, They did the double sit-up when, Harper and Wyatt were trying to taunt them to hit their finishes. They, sat up and just, went to town on them. Undertaker did a tombstone on Luke Harper for the 1-2-3 victory. So, yeah, it just, wasn't a classic match by any means, but it was definitely a fun little match to watch. It wasn't that long either. It was about 10 minutes or so. So, it was good. I enjoyed it. Thought it was fun. And, yeah, Undertaker's 25th year anniversary, Who would have thought he'd keep going this long? And, it was a good way to celebrate it. The way, I don't think that was what people envisioned, how they'd celebrate his 25th anniversary, but for what it was good. The entrance was absolutely amazing, the match was fun, so what more could you really ask for? So good stuff. And then we're going to the main event, which was the finals of the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament, Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose. This match was fun, but it was way too short. This match was about 8 minutes, I would say. I know it was under 10 minutes because it was really, really short because the finish came out of nowhere. Right from the get-go, when the bell rings, those two were just absolutely killing each other, throwing swings left and hard, throwing hits left and right, hard hits. And we got to the point where when you're watching the match, Roman Reigns actually acting a little heelish. You see Roman Reigns act, really beating the holy hell out of Dean Ambrose. And Ambrose is kind of like, it was kind of like that heel where the heel is big and bad and the face is trying their hardest to fight back. That's kind of what the match was. It was hard hitting, they both had their finishers on each other. Roman Reigns had a pretty crappy spear on Ambrose, which wasn't his fault because he's only about 2 feet away from Ambrose when he hit it. So it was a crappy spear. Ambrose hit Dirty Deeds on Reigns, but Reigns kicked out. And then when Ambrose was trying to run towards, Ambrose runs to the turnbuckles, he kicks off the second row and runs towards the corner. As he's doing that, Roman Reigns hits a spear out of nowhere, hits it 1, 2, 3, and Roman Reigns is your brand new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Like I said, the finish literally came out of nowhere. The match was really short. I remember the match ended around it was before 7:40. Well, at least where I live, because that's what time. I'm on the West Coast, so around before 7:40 the match ended. Because I'm like, okay, there's no way this pay-per-view's ending that soon. Reigns beats him. The match is really, really short. Disappointing how short the match was. It easily could have won another 10 minutes, and they definitely could have put on an awesome, awesome, awesome match. But it was leading that way. Like I said, the beginning of the match was just very hard hitting and fast paced. It's them beating the whole out of each other, and the finish just literally came out of nowhere like that. So that kind of sucked. But Reigns wins the title. Pyro's coming. I don't think pyro went off. Did it? I don't know. Confetti's coming down. It's pouring down. It's literally the scene you saw at SummerSlam 2013 with Daniel Bryan when he beat John Cena. It's just everywhere. He's holding the title up. He's proud and happy. Triple H comes out to shake his hand. Roman Reigns says, "You know what? Fuck you." He spears Triple H. Turns around. Fucking bro kick. Sheamus comes out of nowhere. Bro kicks him. Cashes in Money in the Bank. It's official. The bell rings. Charles Robinson is ringing the bell. Sheamus pins him. 1, 2. Roman Reigns kicked out. I'm thinking, okay, yep, for sure. Roman Reigns is beating fucking Sheamus now. Sheamus gets up, goes to hit a bro kick. Roman Reigns ducks it, hits the ropes right into a bro kick. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus is your brand new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I'm not even gonna sit here and rant about it because I can sit here for hours and rant about Sheamus winning the title, but I'm not going to. I just want to see what they go for, because if he goes in the WrestleMania as champion, Brock Lesnar or Daniel Bryan are his only two opponents I can think of him facing. But besides that, I'm not a fan of Sheamus winning. Big missed opportunity here with Ambrose and Reigns to turn one of them heel. I thought it was a huge missed opportunity that they didn't turn one of them. Because one of them, especially Ambrose more than Reigns, definitely needed to turn more, but they didn't turn him, which I think is a huge missed opportunity. But whatever, Sheamus is champion. What can you do? I'll save you guys the rant. I'm not going to rant. So yeah, Sheamus is champion. That's how Survivor Series ends, with Roman Reigns crying. Like, you can see, he was legit crying. So yeah, nah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it for my review for Survivor Series. Like I said, overall, I thought it was a good show for what it was. Nothing must-see. The tournament was fine. The undercard was whatever. You know, nothing really stood out. It was an average Raw feel to it. And, you know, it was a huge missed opportunity in the main event, which, you know, by not turning one of the guys, in my opinion, and Sheamus walking out champion was the worst case scenario they could have done. But what can you do? So, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys like, leave your guys' thoughts below in the comments of the pay-per-view, whether you liked it or not, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and all that. But yeah, thank you guys once again for watching the video, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.